You got your Mac and Mac guys here on Birds 365, and we got a Philly Red, Hunter Brody, to join us here on Birds 365, getting all geeked up for the start of baseball season. But we're here to talk football today, Hunter, and I'm going to start you off with one of my favorite things.
I like that coffee cup. Sorry, I had to interrupt.
No, it's okay. Yeah, we just went to the we did a little Bahamas trip on a cruise this past summer.
Nice.
Yeah, it was solid.
Was this before or after the big home delivery?
So we scheduled it prior. So we had the drink packages ready to go. We were going to get after it, have some fun. Then she got pregnant, and the whole trip became a baby mood. It changed big time.
So you're drinking coffee rather than tequila.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
nice.
All right, though. It's okay.
You live to tell about it. I'm starting with a hypothetical, which has this much chance of happening, but I think it's a fun question, so I'm going to run it by you. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Marcus Mariota isn't back as the Eagles' back.
Oh, say it isn't so.
Yeah.
Nice guy. I like Marcus a lot.
And I'm not sure the Eagles are confident enough to just go, Tanner McKee looked pretty good in preseason last year. We'll just have him as the backup to Jalen. So they're probably going to do something with the backup quarterback position this offseason. How about if I give you a guy who you can get for the veterans minimum, nothing more, very cap-friendly deal?
Don't do it.
And the Eagles, who tried to trade and investigated trading for him a couple of years ago, Russell Wilson says, I'd like to come in and be Jalen's backup. I've always been a Philly guy. Andy Reid loves to tell a story on how badly they wanted me and had to settle for Nick Foles. I got to set the record. I got to go to Philadelphia. What do you say, Hunter? Veteran minimum, that's all you got to pay.
Listen,
how much they pay? John McMahon, what they pay Mariota last year? $5 million?
$5 million.
$5 million for Marcus Mariota, what he delivered. You don't even have to get close to $5 million.
I would say this. Go ahead, Hunter.
No, I was just going to say, look, I mean, they drafted Jalen Hurts when they just signed Carson Wentz. I'd be an idiot to say that Howie Roseman doesn't really value the backup quarterback more than any other general manager in all of football. So what the hell? I'm sure he's checking in. That screams Howie Roseman, doesn't it? It screams Howie Roseman.
Have you guys ever read one thing about Russell Wilson? Russell Wilson ain't being anybody's backup.
Well, hold on a second. What if there's a nice little office in the NovaCare complex that's got Russell? So now he's a backup quarterback with his own office, and if you want to hang out with him, you got to go through his secretary as the backup.
Well, first of all, there's enough dumb teams to make him a starter. So he's going to be a starter somewhere next season. So he's not going to have to worry about that. I get what Jody's saying from a financial perspective, because
financial perspective and a football perspective.
I mean, honestly, all jokes aside, though,
who do you think is going to be the better player going into 2025? Russell Wilson or the person who the Eagles are going to end up with their backup quarterback?
Right.
Who's the better player, Johnny Mac?
Yeah.
You read my mind, yeah.
But yeah, he is the better player. But I mean, he's going to be miserable. He's not going to accept it.
It's a perfect fit
from a football perspective. I'm giving you the football perspective.
He's well known for being more of a diva than his wife.
That's why I said not this much chance. You're right. Yeah. You're 100% right. But the reason is because Russell's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I hypothetically said Russell wants to come here. No, he's not going to want to come here. But if he fell down and hit his head and somehow this became his main directive in life, I'm just saying, I'd sign the guy.
As you guys know, Jeffrey Lurie has only been involved with 3 draft picks in his long quarter-century history of owning the Philadelphia Eagles. Russell Wilson, he badly wanted Russell Wilson, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata. He's 3 for 3. He's only right. So we all said, after we got done laughing at Jeffrey, we all chuckled, why don't you get more involved? Because you're pretty good at this.
Right. When you got that kind of track record, those are the only ones you've ever jumped in, and you should be making every pick every year, Jeffrey.
Exactly. So anyway, Yeah, but Russell
I think it's fun. I mean, look, you say it creates drama, this and that. That's perfect. I mean, that fits the mold.
Yeah, I would love it. I would love it from a selfish standpoint for all the stories. But yeah, I mean, and by the way, he's going to be a starter somewhere. And he, as bad as he was, and talk about, remember, Jody knows this, Hunter. And it used to be me and Andrew Brent. I raised my hands. I was during Carson Wentz. There's no way the Eagles are going to take on that dead money, which was like, what was it, Jody? That 30 million?
30 some odd, yeah.
30. That Denver's taking on like 85 million of whatever dead money to get rid of it.
Spread over 2 years, though.
Yeah. But still, unbelievable the way it's exploded. But they need a backup quarterback. It's not going to be Russell Wilson. Before you came on, Hunter, we're going to get to the Jason Kelce stuff, but I'm sick of it. So I got to start with, I said before you came on, if the Eagles make a sort of, they're not going to make a big splash, but would fans be happy with a mini splash? And I was struggling to come up with a name. I've come up with a name now. Safety. Cameron Curl or Xavier McKinney. One of those two. And Cam Curl was on social media throwing up the peace sign to Washington, so he seems to be leaving. So let's say Cam Curl. Is that somewhat sexy to you? Does that move the needle when you're on WIP? Or is everybody going,
Probably going, It's probably one of those where you don't give as much respect as you probably should for what it could be, but it's not a disaster either. It falls into that middle ground. But yeah, it's probably not sexy enough. Now, I don't think the phone lines are going to light up saying how he did it again. It's Howie Roseman season with the ski mask like it's Cravon LeBlanc of 5, 6, 7 years ago, right? I don't think we're playing that card. So, but it wouldn't be a bad move.
What about Xavier McKinney then? Because he's got a bigger name. He's a little bit more known. What about him?
Look, this is what that move will be. It'll start out as, I don't know, all right. And then 2 days later, you start talking to yourself. Well, when you dive deeper into the stats, you can find out that blah, 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 blah. And then you end up by day 4 thinking that this is a home run hit. Then you bring out the ski mask and it's Cravon LeBlanc. I know how the whole cycle goes here during the offseason, but you talk yourself more into that ladder for sure. I think so.
McKinney is, for me, the unquestioned better player. And there should be more excitement for McKinney than for Curl. But I'll tell you what part of the McKinney narrative will be. Didn't we go get Bradbury from the Giants? And he came in here and was great, and then he fell off a cliff. Is that what we're getting out of Xavier McKinney? One really good year, and then we got to figure out how we get out from underneath his cap hit in year number 2. He'll be tied to Bradbury just because he's coming in from the Giants.
Probably. How old is he, though? How old's McKinney?
It's like 26.
Yeah, see, that 26 range, it hits different than, this is the whole thing when they were looking at safety and there's a 30. Who was it? Was it Eddie Jackson that was kind of getting sprinkled around there a little
30,
bit?
Yeah.
Right, the 30s, the 31. I'm sick of that. I want to go get someone. If you don't draft them, then obviously it's tough to find, like mid-20s or so. But you got to find something like that where it's not just this guy's old. You can look at his career and say he was good 5 years ago and hope that you can get something out of it. I want someone who can play now that's more in the prime. That's
he's going to be 26 this year, Hunter.
Perfect. It's like
Cameron Curl's going to be 25, so he's in the same range.
That's the range. The CJ Gardner-Johnson vibe. I know that was a different situation and all, but that sort of vibe where you can, and that's a Howie Roseman style of move, right? What we saw with CJ Gardner-Johnson. Give me something like that. I'm sick of the old veterans, the old guys, the Bradburys, the breaking down 30 plus. It's time for the mid-20s and things of that nature. Hey, Howie said it best. We got to start playing the young kids.
Yeah, he did.
We got to start playing. But you know what?
And then Nick contradicted him. I'm trying to win the game.
There you go. One guy's trying to save his job. The other guy's trying to show his draft pick worth. If this isn't friction, I don't know what is. But hey, we're the assholes.
Right.
We're the assholes.
But here's where your desire might separate from the way the Eagles do business. Those guys, McKinney's going to get paid. There was talk that the Giants might even slap the franchise tag on McKinney. So McKinney's not coming in here for 6, 7, 8 million. He's going to get double digit.
No, yeah, he's 13, 14 million.
Yeah, but isn't it time to get pieces that you can build around?
Please tell me the safety the Eagles have paid $13-14 million to.
You know, but I'm sick of the Reed Blankenships. I'm sick of the Reed Blankenships and I like Sidney Brown, but are you winning with Sidney Brown and Reed Blankenship as your safeties? Are you winning anything with that?
Especially with not Sidney coming off a torn ACL in week 18.
Right.
They would have paid Marcus Williams at the time. They went to about 11, which at the time would be like 13 now. So they're willing to get somebody if they believe in the player.
Can we get a CJ return?
Maybe. That's cheaper. Cheaper.
I'm okay with that. I don't care what he said on Twitch. I'm okay with it. He said we're obnoxious. We're not? Of course we are. All right, let's go. Go get some interceptions.
The thing. Does CJ want to come back here? CJ wasn't me. He called the people obnoxious. He got his car stolen. The Eagles disrespected him. Does he want to come back here? Sometimes it's about the player, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't want to." They stole my Kia. A Kia. Why does CJ have a Kia? But anyway,
here's the problem with that. If he, and I don't think he thought it along this far and was actually playing, but it's just a reality now. He's going to make the Eagles overpay. That if he's worth, he got $8 million last year. He got hurt, but from the year before, he probably could hold the line at about $8 million. Are the Eagles going to pay 10 to bring him back? If somebody else is going to give him 8 and he says, well, I'll go to Philly, but it's going to cost you 10. Yeah, I got to buy a fleet of Kias to be able to have just in case they start stealing them again. So will Howie Roseman do that? Will he go, yeah, we're desperate. We got to get the CJ Gardner. No. My answer, no, he's not going to do that. The Eagles don't overpay.
I'll tell you where CJ's going. Tennessee with Denard Wilson. That's my landing spot.
Nice.
CJ Gardner Johnson. Yeah. I would he be an upgrade? I think the Eagles want a playmaker. Like he had that playmaking presence. They realized they missed that really, really badly last season. Is he a fit though here? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But that's kind of splashy. McKinney, Curl. Somewhat. And that's why I said not splashy. I said somewhat splashy. You're not even giving me somewhat, Hunter? Give me somewhat.
Yeah, no, I get it. No, for sure. It's not, you're not just scraping at the bottom of the garbage can here and you're just throwing, because I think he does that, not scrape, maybe that's a little rude because I do think Ringo could grow into something. But when you look at the way they handled corner, it felt like to me that they just grabbed, 5 guys that people knew who were popular in college. The Ringo, the Jobs,
the Ricks, Eli Ricks,
right? You just throw these LSU, Alabama, all the Georgia, whatever, these guys, and then
how many times did you hear, oh, Eli Ricks was the top recruit coming out of high school?
John, I saw an image that someone posted, and it was, quote, the future. And it was Ringo, Ricks, and Job playing in our secondary. And I said, you know what that was? Last year's defense. That was last year's defense. What are you doing? Like, I think Ringo could be fine. Like,
I like Ringo.
I do, but this would be, we need to go get NFL legitimate players. All right. I don't want to do this slop. Here's a bunch of guys. Here's a name that you knew in Alabama. I want real National Football League players, safeties, guys in our secondary. And it's time to do that. So I don't know if Howie finds, like I mentioned before, a CJ Gardner Johnson, or he does something like Snead and brings him in there. Although I think he's starting to get up there a little bit more, but that moves the needle for me, obviously.
He'd be a needle move.
Oh yeah, that's a big deal move for sure. Even though I know I brought up the age earlier, but I'm excited. Well, how old's Snead though? He's not. Is he 30 now?
No.
Okay, he's 27, 28.
He's 27ish.
All right, so I'm just making sure that fits my timeline of age. That's
check.
All. Yeah, I didn't know if he was 30 yet.
He's a press guy, man. You're playing Vic's defense. Why does everybody want LeJerry? He's 27, by the way.
27. All right, Here we go.
He's going to get it. So,
but if you can't work with Snead, what are we doing here?
I'm with you.
Right.
We've been through this with Namdi. best press cover corner in the NFL. They bring him in here, ask him to play a bunch of zone. He's out in the parking lot eating lunch by himself because everybody hates him.
That disappoints me, though, because if you're a great DC, and I think Vic Fangio is, even though we apply the scheme and what he does and the Vic Fangio scheme, it has a name for it. If you can't adapt to your personnel with a player as talented as Snead, that's annoying to me.
I agree.
It should be. And
I agree.
That's on Vic Fangio. He's got to be able to see the talent and make the talent work. And I'm not saying he needs to abandon his system, but he's got to be able to adjust his system. And the players got to know that coming in too. He's going to come in, and they might not be tailor made for him. So you got to up your game too if you're going to grab the big check. All right, this will not be a happy day for Eagle fans either over the next couple of days. Fletcher Cox says, thanks for the memories. I'm going to call it a career. I'm going to do it in how long do you think it would take Fletcher to say his goodbyes as compared to Jason Kelce, John? Less than 10 minutes, right? Fletcher.
Yeah. Well, Fletch can't stay behind the TV cameras that long because he'll sweat himself away. But yeah, he won't take 42 minutes to say goodbye. But Fletch was a hell of a player, man. Hell of a player. I would argue this. I'm getting people pissed off this morning, so why not? Better Eagle, Fletcher Cox, Jason Kelce. I'm sorry, Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox. Wow. On the football field, Fletcher Cox is one of the best players in Philadelphia Eagles franchise history.
But isn't Jason Kelce arguably the best center to ever live?
No.
Why not? Webster? We going Web?
You can go. If you want to go way back, you can go Jim Otto. You can go Dwight Stevenson. You can go Dermontti Dawson. I brought up to Jody. He didn't even make the 2010 All-Decade team.
Stop with that stupid All-Decade thing. I explained that earlier. It's just flat out dumb. It's almost as dumb as the fumble in the end zone.
Here's what's dumb.
Use it as a reference if you want, but I'm going to call it dumb.
Here's what's dumb. If you go to Pittsburgh this morning and say Jason Kelce is better than Marquise Pouncey as a center, they will laugh at you. They will laugh at you.
Yeah, what do they know?
Yeah, exactly.
I think well, then I'll ask it to you this way. Who do you think is going to get in the Hall of Fame first? Now, how many years has Pouncey been out? 2? So he's got a 2-year head start?
I got to look him up.
On Kelce? Oh, I'll take anything you want to wager that Jason Kelce gets into the Hall of Fame before Marquise Pouncey. I don't care what they say in Pittsburgh. You're trying to tell me Marquise Pouncey's better career than Jason Kelce? I don't think so. He may have made an All-Decade team because his career just happened to line up between 0-0 and 0-9. I don't give a shit. He wasn't as good a football player as Jason Kelce. You're just wrong if you're going to say that, Johnny Mac, or any Yinzer from Pittsburgh who's going to make an argument that Pouncey is better than Kelce. Stop.
9 Pro Bowls. 9 Pro Bowls.
Okay. Different era, though. Look what Jason Kelce's dealing with these athletes. I mean, this is just unbelievable discussion.
He played. He was drafted the first round in 2010. 9 Pro Bowls.
There it is. Thank you very much. That's why he made the All-Decade team. Why? Because he was drafted in 10. So he got to be there for 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That's how you make an All-Decade team. You just get lucky enough to have your career start.
We're talking about where punters get in them. You're talking about the players that get missed out on, which is a legitimate argument. The players that make the team, he got drafted. He got drafted in 2010. He made the Pro Bowl in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. Every stinking year.
I put it out there before. You can use All-Decade. I think it's false. I'll use Hall of Fame. Do you think Marcus Pouncey will get in quicker than Jason Kelce?
I do not.
There you go.
But so I think people
here's what his All-Decade team thing means. Sorry, see ya. You're not as good a player as Jason Kelce.
I think, and I acknowledge I got to see Jason Kelce. Now, and this will be an interesting question we can bring on, and I'll bring Hunter because I want to ask you on the scale to 1 and 10. one being a blubbering mess. I guess 10 would be the blubbering mess. One being, Jason Kelsey, nice job. How are you emotionally? And then the standpoint of first ballot. A lot of people talking about first ballot Hall of Famer. Is that just what we're talking about? Like the people in Pittsburgh, if you ask them that question, Jody, they would say Pouncey. I'm in Philadelphia. I got to see Jason Kelsey. I say Kelsey. Let's go to
an objective third party, the Hall of Fame selectors. Who do you think they're going to put in faster?
That's why. Well, unfortunately, Hunter's not that yet. Hopefully, someday he'll get there. But I want to ask Clark. We'll get Clark on, or we'll get Damo on Friday, and because I think you are really dismissing how good Marquise Pouncey is. Really, really dismissing.
Could Marquise Pouncey make the Hall of Fame someday? Yeah. Yes. Do I think he'll make it as fast as Jason Kelsey? No. Who's a better football player? The guy who makes it in faster. That's Jason Kelsey. If that's disrespecting Marquise Pouncey, saying, guess what? You're not going to get in as quick as Kelsey. Okay, yeah, I'm disrespecting Marquise Pouncey. But I'm saying I think you got an excellent chance to make the Hall of Fame. If that's disrespecting him, well, then toughen up, big guy. You got a little thin skin there. I'm sorry. I think Jason Kelsey is a more legitimate Hall of Fame and all-time great than Marquise Pouncey.
Yeah.
You guys are great. You guys are just great. I love it. I'll answer your emotional question.
And by the way, I want to get one more in. Sorry, I'm beating up on my poor partner John McMullen today.
Go ahead.
Hunter Brody, Fletcher Cox, is he a Hall of Famer?
I don't think so.
John McMullen just told me he's a better player than Jason Kelsey.
No,
he's a greater Eagle than Jason Kelsey.
On the football field, yes. On the football field. Fletcher's a borderline.
How are they judging the Hall of Fame? You think
Fletcher,
the voters for the Hall of Fame are judging personality?
Sometimes, yes. Fletcher is a borderline Hall of Fame player. If he had Jason Kelsey's personality, he'd be a no doubt about it Hall of Fame player.
Man, well, I do find about disrespecting. You're disrespecting the 50 guys who select the Hall of Fame.
I'll say it. The Damo's
they would allow somebody's personality to overrule how good they actually were.
I'll not only say it to Damo's face, and we can get Ledbetter on, we can get Clark on, we can get everybody on we talk to, we can get Ira on. I'll say it to their face, and they'll agree with me. They'll agree with me.
I don't know about that.
That stuff matters. That stuff matters.
Well, I do.
Tell me the emotion, Hunter.
No, I'm just saying I do feel, though, to your point of the personality, though, because they're bigger than, I mean, they're not Kardashian level, but they're on the trajectory. You're dating Taylor Swift, you're this and that. Outside of the Hall of Fame discussion, just more on the Jason Kelsey thing, I am fascinated to see how this goes post-football due to, I mean, this dude's bigger than life now. I mean, Travis probably more so because of who he's dating, but they are in a tier of whoa. I mean, on a national level of whoa. So I am just fascinated to see where this whole Jason Kelsey, we're in the thick of it. So we see it differently than the entire world does that watch these two. I just watched a video from the Cleveland Cavaliers where they got, dude, I can't wait to see where this goes.
By the way, I asked Jody this, Hunter, over under, you're going to get a call that somebody complains that Kelsey is getting an award from the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he's got a Cleveland Cavaliers jersey.
1,000%, because you know that he's willing to put that on too. He's not afraid. So maybe Kylie's sitting up there with an Eagles logo on while he's getting a Sixers jersey and an Embiid jersey while he's getting a Kyrie Irving's not there anymore. Whatever, he's getting a.
All right, 1 to 10. Were you a quivering mess during the
No, I wasn't. It hit me though. No tears actually shed. I kind of was being a jag off a little bit, like, oh man, how could I do that? You know. How could I sit through that experience again? But it was touching. It's crazy to me how much, because I know we all played sports at one point. I'll never forget the day that I hung up the skates for the last time, and that was my last hockey game. And I knew it at the time going into it, so it made it easier. But some people don't. It's all different. But how much that game meant to him, where he just broke down. He legitimately was breaking down. I was wondering, is it because he he was so happy with everything he did, or because he feels he still has some left in the tank, but he knows he's making the right decision for his family. I was trying to figure out, which way it was going. But look, it was tough to sit through for sure. No tears down my eyes, but it was tough to sit through. My wife was like, whoa, hold on. This is crazy. It stopped her in her tracks. She's not the biggest football fan in the world, but she had to sit there and listen to it. And she was like, damn, this is something. So, I was in the middle. It hit me, but no tears.
I'll ask you something that's kind of difficult to do, but I find myself having to do it all the time. So I want to get your take on it as well. Put the fact that you're a member of the media to the side, and can be difficult to do, but I'm going to ask you to do it. Just as a Philadelphia Eagles fan, did it disappoint you that Jason Kelce did not take questions? Now, we always filter it through, well, we're the ones who are asking the questions, and we want the questions answered. We think we can ask a good question, if not the perfect question. You got to put all that aside. Just as an Eagle fan, growing up, Eagle fan, high school nuts, go with your buddies watching the game, and just as a fan, did it bother you that you couldn't get the answer to the question of, now, Jason, what's bothering you more? The one you just put out there. It's a good question. It's a very good question. If you were there that day and they were asking a question and you asked that, Hunter, I would go, good job, Hunter. I want to know the answer to that question too. You got to put that aside and just, as a fan, did it bother you if Jason Kelce said, yeah, I'm not taking any questions?
No, because I think that situation, look, it would have been awesome. It would have been cool. But that's just for him to say, hey, this is me saying my goodbyes. It is what it is. This is me saying my goodbyes. I'm able to speak for 45 minutes and then walk away without having to answer anything. As much as I want to defend what we do and say it's all right, and hey, we love the media and all, I'll give this one a pass to the players and go, Jason, you can handle this whatever way you want to handle this. And if that's a 45-minute speech with a lot of stops and cries, and you want to thank your hockey coach from Cleveland when you were 10 years old, then by all means, man, you're entitled to do it that way. So, no, not really. I never really gave it a thought on it either. So, no, I think it's fine the way that it was going.
And by the way, Kylie confirmed, I don't know if you saw it, Jody, but Jason's been working on that speech for years. Yeah, that wasn't, that's what we said. It wasn't like we did that in 2 days. That was pretty eloquent. That was a Hall of Fame, no doubt about it, retirement speech.
Did you guys, real quick, are we running out?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I just got a question for you guys. Do you think that he took a shot at the room? Because I sure did.
Who took a shot?
When Jason Kelce went down that whole spiel of the media, the fans, you got to realize that, you got to respect them a little more. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but when he was talking about what it means to play in Philly, the fan base and how we approach it and all, I thought he was taking a little shot at Darius Slay, a little shot at AJ Brown.
Really? Those guys I didn't get that.
Maybe that's me nitpicking.
Now I'll go back and look at the transcript.
Yeah, the light bulb went off like, whoa, because he went.
I didn't get it in the moment. I didn't think about it in the moment, but I was focused on, because I think when he was talking about how inclusive the locker room is, that struck me, because I've been writing about that for years. Like, I think people are like, society sucks right now. Let's be honest. Everybody's against each other. Everybody hates each other. Either agree with me or I hate you, that type of thing. NFL locker rooms are so inclusive, different backgrounds. He was talking about different races, different religions, different politics, and everybody accepts each other. I've written about that for years. He talked about that. So that kind of struck me. And then when something strikes you, you're not worried about the other stuff. So
yeah, well, go back and take a listen. I was like, whoa, he was talking about how you approach the fans and they'll boo you, but you got to realize that it's a brotherhood, this and that. Once you accept that, you approach it differently. And I'm like, this is coming right after Darius Slay and Steven Nelson and AJ Brown calling Jack Fritz and Ike Reese. So I'm like, I don't know. I wonder if there's something going.
Here was my take on that. Number one, I think it was more of an homage to the fans than it was a warning, a tale of warning for other teammates. I think he was playing up to the fans, which he did a lot of, which I think is very smart. More power to you, Jason. Number two, if he was saying it to a teammate, there's a couple of different ways you could say it. You could say it like, yo, douchebag, pay attention to what I'm saying. Or you could go, but do me a favor. Listen up here. I think it would be more that. I think it would be the been through the wars. I've been here longer. I can lend you some of my wisdom rather than, asshole, call him whatever you want. It's cut the crap. Or no, I don't think he was trying to lecture anyone. I think he might have been, if it turned out to be a helping hand for some guys he's leaving behind in the locker room, so be it. So that was my look at it. All right. Where's Hassan Reddick being traded this weekend? Because the Eagles have to clear that stuff up by Monday. Cowboys?
Yeah, listen, I don't know. Dallas Cowboys for a third and a fifth.
Wow.
Isn't that what Adam Schefter just said 2 seconds ago?
Third and a fifth. He said a second or a third and a fifth.
No
so either
shot.
A second rounder or a third and a fifth.
Come on.
Yeah,
well,
here's
remember
the scary part about that. What did they give up for Byard? A fifth and a sixth?
Fifth, sixth, and Terrell Edmonds.
Edmonds to me is irrelevant, but a fifth and a sixth. So you got a fifth and a fifth. And the only difference between Byard and Hassan Reddick is the difference between a third and a sixth. Really? Is that the difference between them? Wow. That's not a lot to get in exchange for Hassan Reddick, one of the best defensive players in the National Football.
That was great, though, Jetty. Terrell Edmonds, I don't care about it. Give me that fifth and sixth.
He started for Mike Tomlin for a couple of years down there in Pittsburgh.
Terrell Edmonds.
Yeah, come on.
All right, well, here's how we'll cut to the chase with Terrell Edmonds. Hunter Brody, Terrell Edmonds, going to be a free agent this year. Desire to bring him back to play with the Eagles.
What was your
scale of 0 to 10, 10 being, oh my God, I'll pick him up. I'll drive to Tennessee to pick him up and bring him back. 0 being, I'll shoot down the plane from the air. Where are you landing on the 0 to 10 scale? Terrell Edmonds
a fat 0.
Your favorite moment of the Terrell Edmonds era. That's
couldn't
what
even tell. I think he had a tackle in there.
We got at Broads81. Make sure you follow Hunter on X, Twitter, Broads Media, Sports Talk WIP. You're going to get that Cleveland Cavaliers. Take off that jersey, Jason Kelsey. Bigger boy, leadership or on the field, Jason Kelsey. He's one of the greatest players that got to be on the field, right? We just said greatest player.
Yeah, I mean, yes, probably. And that's no disrespect to Cam Jurgens. I think you're still going to have a great offensive line, but I have to think it's on the field. And that's no disrespect to the leadership part of it, but it means one of the best centers ever.
And here's the thing that will be underreported, not because we don't have good guys like John who cover the team and we'll try and get to the bottom but Jason Kelsey and his ability to help the quarterback and move people around and change plays and get things done at the line of scrimmage. I got no bloody idea if Cam Jurgens could do that.
We're going to get into that.
Zero idea if he can do that.
It's going to be tougher for Jalen Hurts this year. We haven't even gotten into that.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be tougher for Jalen this year.
Oh, yeah. I already have that written down as one of the topics for an upcoming show on WIP.
Nice.
When are you next on WIP, big guy?
Tonight, 10 p.m. to 2 baby. That's a Jody Mack time. I'm taking the Jody Mack time on a Wednesday.
Feel free to use whatever you brought to the table here today and trot it out there again tonight because we're doing good here today. It'll be good tonight again as well on WIP. Thanks, Broads.
Thanks,
Of course. You got it, guys.
That is Hunter Brody. WIP tonight does WIP work, and his Broads media stuff is always on point. All right, McDonald and McMullen coming back to put a bow on the show.